CJ is so torn. She's so torn, so torn. She's all out of faith. This is how she feels. She's hot and flexible down on Miro's floor. Losing never. I don't really care about the rest of that. CJ is so torn, though. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Collision from Cleveland, Ohio. The Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. That is a goddamn mouthful. Apparently, that's where the Cleveland Cavaliers play. As an NBA-sized arena, and according to WrestleTix, as of 5 days ago, they sold just over 3,000 tickets. And maybe they got 4,000, 4,500 people. I don't know. If you were there, let me know if there was a decent-sized crowd in the comments, please. I understand it's hard to fill up NBA-sized arenas, but good God, they're running 2 shows in Seattle where the Seattle Storm and the Seattle Kraken play, and it's going to be interesting to see how both those shows draw. But I'm absolutely excited to be going to Wrestle Dream because I get to see Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson in person. In Bryan Danielson's last, at least, full year of his wrestling career. So as for the rest of the show, firstly, I do want to say the reason that this review is up way later, I didn't have to work. I went and watched A Haunting in Venice, a special screening of that, at a theater about an hour away from here because it was the only theater playing it. And boy, that was a goddamn trek. Check out my review of that. So as for Collision, I do also want to say I may not be reviewing it every week. If it seems like a viable show, I will. But if it seems like there are some... Once Wrestle Dream is out of the way, I'll think about how often I'm going to review Collision, because I'm a little bit worried, because there were parts of the show I liked. Some of it wasn't in the first hour, though. So anyway, Wild Thing, you make the action sing, and it's Action Andrade versus Jon Moxley for the Wild Thing. No, it's actually for the International Incident Championship, and Moxley can work, he just refuses to, and Action Andretti, hands up if you forgot he beat Chris Jericho. Nothing against the guy. I think he's got a bright future, but they just seemingly didn't know what the fuck to do with him after that. He was a de facto heel because they're from Ohio, or they're in Ohio as it were. Boy, it was so great when Moxley was in Japan and said, I bring a message from Cincinnati, Ohio, and the Japanese crowd thought he was saying, speaking their language. That was funny. So anyway, Action hit some good stuff, but Moxley ended up choking him out to win it. Moxley was favoring his knee during this, so hopefully he's all right, and he actually didn't hurt himself. But yeah, he won with the choke. Then we get clips of Roddy and Cole's friendship, and he just wants his friend back. And you know what, Roderick, with these pre-tape promos, they're fine. Then Statlander took on Robin Renegade, where they pulled twin magic. And Charlotte kept trying to interfere and almost got her sister disqualified. And eventually, Statlander hit a very, very nice bridge. Very nice bridge. And got the victory. And then the twin girls are tag teaming her. It's like something from my search history. Let's just move on from that. And suddenly, a storm is coming. Oh my God, it's Jade! Jade! Yes, she is back! Jade is back. Jade Cargill is back. Okay, she lays out the twins and lays out Statlander. She wants her championship back. She still has Mark Sterling there. You gotta get her away from the goofiness. I got nothing against Sterling as a person. It's not a good character. Jade doesn't need to be associated with him. That's all I gotta say. But Jade is back. Shivani doing these sit-down interviews and in-the-ring interviews. This is how Shivani should be used. So he's with Eddie Kingston and Claudio. They're both champions. They talk about their friendship, their history. Claudio plays it off like he actually doesn't know why Eddie's upset. Eddie mentioned about him not doing the honors before he left and went to the land of make-believe. And they're going to have a match, apparently. Claudio wants a handshake. At first, Eddie said he wanted the Ring of Honor championship, then actually said he'd put his championship on the line. Is it going to be winner takes all? I mean, Claudio getting to work more in Japan, I'd be all for that. This was fine. This was fine for what it was. Eddie always comes across as very real. And then the Juice Guns of Juice Robinson and the Guns against Aerostar, Gravity, and his name is Dios. He used to be Drago. Is he the Drago from Lucha Underground or another Drago? I honestly don't know. Lucha Underground, as far as Season 2, seems like it was from forever ago. And that was only, 7 years ago or just over 7 years ago? Anyway, Gravity, I'm sorry, I don't get it. I don't get the slow, oh wait, defying gravity. Anyway, so yeah, the referee couldn't control this because it was like Lucha rules and a bunch of stuff happened. Big shout out to Lucha Blog, who's great as far as keeping track of AAA, CMLL, and any other Mexican wrestling stuff going on. Lucha Blog, a great follow on Twitter. I can't read Spanish, so I don't understand some of the tweets, but he also tweets in English. Anyway, so 310 to Yuma and a DDT drop, whatever Juice calls it, 1, 2, 3. I didn't really care for this. It was alright, but I didn't care for it. And then CJ, the former Lana with the pre-tape, she says Miro's forsaken everybody, including her, and she's sick of it, and she's torn, and maybe she needs to forge her own path. No. I'm sorry, but just, it did not work out when she tried to get better in the ring in WWE. Just stick to acting or do something, whatever. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think this is going to work. I don't think this will. She got a big old pop it all out, but they're going to pop for anybody that debuts. What's she going to do? Sleep with somebody next and they're going to make it like the Bobby Lashley, Rusev thing? That was terrible. By the way, the Dark Order, enough. Just enough. Enough of this goddamn horse shit. It has been 4 years of this. No. Then Phoenix took on Angelico. Speaking of no. Angelico, going back to Lucha Underground. Angelico doing that incredible dive, drop kick thing, wherever the hell he did when he dove from that landing, wherever the hell they shot it at, and looked like he broke every bone in his body. That was cool. That seems like it was about 25 years ago. So yeah, he hit some Phoenix driver or Dangerous driver, whatever, 1, 2, 3. I have nothing against Angelico as an athlete, but just him being associated with Serpentico and Dr. Luther, as far as on-screen characters, no. No, none of this. However, things did pick up a little bit after Shivani talked to FTR, the best tag team in wrestling. They want challengers. They'll put their titles on the line. Young teams step up. I did like how they showed backstage where Roderick Strong was being walked to the wing and to the west wing, to the ring by Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. That was cool. And then Darby was skateboarding to the ring while Roderick and the Kingdom were in the ring. And then Luchasaurus grabs him, beats him about the head and face, chokes him, or gets him in the torture rack thing. Christian says, oh, you entered this tournament because you know you can't beat me for my TNT championship. You'll never be a champion here. He's already been a champion before, Christian. Pay attention to the product. He may not be a champion again, is what you might have meant to say, but then he gets long darted into the door by Luchasaurus. Then he's making his way to the ring. Nick's encouraging him. He should have encouraged him to go to a hospital, but then again, Nick probably knows Darby and says he doesn't want to walk by the age of 40 or live by the age of 40. So Darby, go to the ring and do this stuff. Strong and Darby had a good match here. They had a good match. It was a semifinal match. And back focus, Darby kept fighting back, but he would always favor the back because his back hasn't been the same since the Coffin match. Gee, maybe stop Coffin dropping hard objects. Darby, just a thought. But a post spot, there was some good offense here. Darby doing that dive, he's going to end up not rotating right. At one point, it's going to end really badly, and I hope I'm wrong. But Strong with some, tossing them into the rail. We got a backbreaker off the top, some very good stuff. 2 breaks for this. They gave this a lot of time, but it made sense because Darby just wouldn't quit. And then AR Fox showed up. That's all you're going to get right there because I'm tired. Nick is pissed off. We get I mean, I get where they're going with it, but Fox accidentally hits Nick a little bit later on when he tries to interfere, because this gets messy. It becomes frickus, six spoon ba, kingdom, and a Fox, rah, rah, rah. And then Darby tries for the coffin drop, knees up, end of Fartache, as I'm calling it, 1, 2, 3, and there we are. So Roderick Strong advancing to the finals, like I thought he might. And then a Hobbs pre-tape. He wants to finish the chapters in the Book of Hobbs and wants to either challenge Miro or other people. I wasn't really clear. Lexi is with Keith Lee. I wonder if Keith Lee's all right, and I genuinely mean that because I know he's had health issues. He seems determined to be a single star. That's okay. And then, so basically, the righteous. It's Vincent, Dutch, whoever Dutch is, and Stu. I don't actually... Is Vincent the one with the dreads? Because I sort of recognize him, but the righteous, whatever. Stu Grayson's there with him. Okay. Bryan Danielson comes down. What's next? He says he told his daughter when she turned 7, then he would wind down his career. Now, that doesn't mean that he won't make some shots here and there, but it means he wants to be there more for when his kid grows up. And the crowd's booing this. Oh, she's 6. Boo. How dare that child grow up? Jeez, yeah. How dare the guy that fought back and came back and has had brain injuries and everything, but came back from that. Maybe wants to spend time with his family? I love Danielson. I'd love to see Danielson wrestle until he's 50. He doesn't need to. He's done everything he can. And then some. But he says he wants to have the best, most amazing last year. He wants to face everybody, kick everybody's head in. He wants to face, on October 1st at WrestleDream in Seattle, the guy who calls himself the best technical wrestler in the world, Zack Sabre Jr. Shut up and take my money. Oh, wait, they already got my money because I already got tickets for myself and my best friend, Chris, a.k.a. the Durbinator, the first wrestling show we've gone to in about a year. And I'm going to be fucking thrilled. It's going to be a very exhausting weekend of work and wrestling and not a lot of sleep, but it's absolutely going to be worth it. And I'm going to be locked in. I'm going to be ready to talk about that show once, I'm back from traveling to Seattle. Good God, but it's going to be worth it because I get to see both of those guys. Hopefully an amazing card. I hope Thunder Rosa is on that card. I'm fucking thrilled. I get to see that live. And then Ricky Starks shows up with Big Billy Willie, and there's a bit of a back and forth. And then Bill attacks Brian, and oh no, Ricky was pissed, and then Ricky jumps on him, and then Mox jumps in. So I imagine we're getting this tag match at Grand Slam. I think we will. And Shivani's with Big Bill. He wants to face off for the International Incident Championship next week. The Lucha Bros confront, and I'm sorry, I know why they want Phoenix to face off against him, but they need to retire some of these belts because there's no excuse to have this many championships. It's ridiculous. But the Lucha Bros, they want their... Well, Phoenix wants his shot. Penta's going to go out and face Samoa Joe, which he did in a semifinal match. JR called it, and he took the piss out of about everything and then some that Penta did. Good God. JR just wants to go home. Eventually, there was a table brought out just before the break, and I questioned why, and then that was because later, Penta did a dive, Joe moved out of the way, Penta crashed into it, and then got the choke to win it. There was nothing particularly wrong with this match besides the fact that you have to understand what Penta's going to do and what Joe's going to do. And Joe is going to be the dominant beast, and Penta's going to do a lot of lucha stuff, for he is one half of the Lucha Bros. That being said, the show was fine. Again, especially once I'm done with the Collision just before WrestleDream, I'll see how Collision is going forward after that. I hope that it ends up being a viable show and something where, featuring a good amount of people and some good storylines and some good matches. But I'm worried. I'm worried for the future. Anyway, that being said, what do you think of the show? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.